Today we want to concentrate on that issue of friendship in leadership. I emphasize the fact that friends will help you face hostility. But I want to say right at the beginning that it is not friendship at any cost. Because the temptation of a leader is to have a kitchen cabinet. What's a kitchen cabinet? There's an accepted structure, then decision that is supposed to help make decisions, but the leaders create another kitchen cabinet, which is people who are not necessarily having powers in the open structure, but are actually the ones who make decisions. Before the matters are brought to the cabinet, the president calls his personal friends, and what they tell him is what will carry the day. Normally, when you get that kitchen cabinet, you get the rest of the cabinet very demotivated and unlikely to do their very best, or to live under fear of reports that are given by the kitchen cabinet about them. So although we are talking about the importance of friendship in leadership, it must be not the one that will make you biased. You must manage and remember you are friends of you are leader of the whole organization. Those who like you, those who don't like you, are part and parcel of the group. And if you are going to carry out the vision of the group, it will require both those who like you and those who don't like you. So although friends are important, a leader must be mature enough not to allow his friends to be the one making decisions, even when they don't have the power structurally. And that will be very important. So that's one. Number two, don't be so keen on making people friends that you are willing to compromise. I've heard of teachers who get one of the bad boys and make him a prefect, and that way manage him. Now, if you make him a prefect, and assuming that a prefect has a clear job description, and the boy has no capacity to handle that job, the whole group will be the loser. You will gain because you don't have opposition, but the whole group will be the loser. Similarly, any leader who wants to bribe enemies by doing certain things to befriend them is likely to get the group going nowhere. You need to be a leader who is friendly, but not desperate for friendship. Friendly means you are available to anybody willing to be friends with you. You have nobody in the organization whom you regard as an enemy. They can regard you as an enemy, but you don't regard them as an enemy. Because the moment you regard some people in the organization as your enemies, not that they hate you, but that you also hate them, you again start moving from helping the group to go to its vision to beginning fights within the organization. And the hostility we were talking about earlier, it will be a hostility generated by the leader himself. And that's why it will be very important that we clearly understand that friendship is very important, but avoid giving the kitchen cabinet, or rather your personal friends, your family, to run the whole show, yet they have not structurally, they are not recognized as leaders, and do not feel like you must befriend so and so in such a desperate manner that you get him onto your side even when he does not deserve it. And I think that will be something important. Now, so therefore, the carry out for today is a leader must be friendly. And when you use friendship, you are likely to make it much easier for you to lead people and for them to cooperate with you than if they see you as a feared man. You know, the people say it's lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to be lonely. The reason it's lonely is because you are unable to bring yourself to where people can be with you. you would behave in a certain way. You know, the first job I did 1970s when I left university, and I was working on the 18th floor of the building. It was one of the highest buildings that time, 45 years ago. And when our CEO entered, that time the word CEO was not being used. He was called executive director. When the CEO entered the lift, nobody else entered. He went up to the 18th floor or 19th floor alone. My friend, you need to understand that being friendly means that you don't treat people as your juniors. You treat them as your teammates. The fact that one is playing as a forward, the other one is a fullback, all of us are in the same team. So the leader must see everybody in the organization as part and parcel of the team and a needed member of the team, because the organization cannot go where it needs to go if the messenger is not in it, if the mama chai is not in it. All of us matter. And the moment the very junior people start thinking, hiya, you mean this guy knows my name? Or you mean he can even call me by my first name? You mean he can stop what he's doing to just have a few minutes with me? He will start seeing you as a friend. And the claim that is lonely at the top will not apply. You know, I started, I used to work for an oil company, and I started a fellowship, must be 1980s. And I was a junior person then. Then I grew up the ladder to the top leadership. Someone was saying, will you still be attending the lunch hour fellowship? In other words, they feel like if you are at that level, you cannot attend the Christian fellowship in the meeting. How will the juniors relate with you? And I said, no. When I'm in the fellowship, I'm not a manager. I'm just a brother in the Lord. And the messenger is just a sister in the Lord. We are there as fellow Christians, children of God. So I will not stop attending the fellowship because I've been promoted. And when I'm there, I will not carry my title. I'll be there as their friend. And when you do that, your work becomes very easy. You know, some headmasters, the moment you become a headmaster, tea must be brought to his office. He cannot step in the staff room where everybody is taking tea. How then do you hope they'll ever become your friends? You need to say, no, during tea time, I'll not be taking tea in my office unless I have a visitor. I'll go and take tea with the people in the staff room. And within no time, you know, in the staff room, they are not structured. It's not a business meeting. You will hear people say and are themselves. They also hear the way you talk. You create a friendship with them. And I'm arguing, I hope you are understanding it, that friendship will make it easier for you to carry out your leadership role and to have less enemies and less hostility. But there needs to be a program you have set for that you are committed to creating friendship and you being friendly, and thirdly, that this will be available for everyone, not a clique, not people from your church, and yet that organization is not does not belong to your church. Not just people from your tribe, not just people who are women, not just people who are men. Everybody must feel that the leader is actually somebody who is available to them, accessible to them, and friendly with them. Let's just look at 1 Samuel chapter 20. Verse 3 says, but David took an oath and said, your father knows very well that I have found favor in your eyes. And he has said to himself, Jonathan must not know this, or he will be grieved. Yet as surely as the Lord lives, and as you live, there's only one step between me and death. You know, I'm saying the people you make your friends must be your confidant. What's a confidant? These people feel you are so friendly with them, they can tell you inside information which is not required, which is not, they are not asked to report, but they feel they want to share with you. They are confident. You know, have you heard somebody say a problem shared is a problem halved or half solved? You need to have these friends of yours feel like if they tell you something, you'll not go reporting them. That you can take confidentiality. There's no way people will take you as a friend when they tell you something confidential. Then now in a public meeting you say, like Onyango was telling me, here, that's the end of your relationship with Onyango, because he was telling you confidentially, and then you have gone sharing it openly with people. A leader who wants friends must be willing to keep the confidentiality. Or if you want to share, just take a call and say, Brother Onyango, there's this story you told me, and I think it's a very relevant story. Is it okay that I share it with others? It will be very important to understand most people whom you regard as friends, you regard them friends because they keep confidentiality. They do not payuka, talk loudly about things that are between the two of you. And that's why these two friends, Jonathan and David, can share deeply with one another. Why? Jonathan knows there is no way David can go reporting to the king. You know, your son is the one who told me. No, they are speaking confidentially. And David is going through a lot of stress. And you are dealing with the king wanting to kill you. But in Jonathan, he finds somebody he can share with. And a leader requires those people who can keep confidence. Just he keep confidence. And you share with them, and they will not go telling everybody, yeah, the leader is saying, because they are friends. And so when he shares that information with them, they will not share with anyone. And then his burden, stress, will be relieved that somebody is praying with him, somebody is understanding him, and you also get encouragement. My friend, if you want to be a good leader, that idea of confidentiality is key. Many people lose friends simply because they are unable to keep confidence. You tell him a story, and within minutes, you'll be taking a telephone call to tell somebody else. And once he tells somebody else, that somebody will tell somebody else. Within no time, it's back to me, and actually already distorted. And I say, this matter, I only told Onyango. There's nobody else I have told. So it's very clear who leaked the information. Do you expect us to continue friendship? You will be a leader who keeps complaining about it's lonely at the top, but it's because you don't keep confidentiality. You also, of course, want to test the people who are friendly with you, whether they are spies for the enemy, so that you don't become naive and share your story with just anybody. There are levels of friendship. I've written a book on friendship. Next time you are near Scripture Union Bookshop, you can look for a copy. I've written a book on friendship, and there are levels of friendship. There is somebody who is an acquaintance. An acquaintance means, hi. But there are people who are deep friends. So let there be a progression. My other book, Finding a Life Partner, also talks about that. Don't propose to a girl if she is an acquaintance. Let us progress to where you are really serious friends, general friends, before you start saying, can you be my future wife? There needs to be a progress. Similarly, a leader must have friends, be friends with everybody, but give them a process that allows them to keep becoming closer and closer and closer. Don't start sharing information with people you have not tested, whose confidentiality you have not tested, and it will bounce back to you negatively. Verse 7 says, if he says yes, very well, then your servant is safe. But if he loses his temper, that's the king, you can be sure that he is determined to harm me. As for you, show kindness to your servant, for you have brought him into a covenant with you before the Lord. If I'm guilty, then kill me yourself. Why hand me over to your father? You know, what he is doing here is to test, just like I've been saying, to test the depth of friendship between him and Jonathan. Let me tell you clearly, friendship is not automatic, but fatherhood is. In other words, Jonathan is the son of Saul, and that can be proved by a DNA test. But you can see clearly they are not friends. The king and his son are not friends. And David and Jonathan are friends, but he is testing this friendship. What are we learning here? That if you really want people to be friends, you must invest time in that friendship. You must do, it's called the management mbwa, management by walkabout. In other words, you must leave your office. Many leaders are stuck in their office. It's people who come to see them. You must say, after every 2 hours, for half an hour, I will not be in my office. You just go greeting people, being friendly, finding out what they are going through, what challenges they are having. That way, you are growing the friendship, because friendship is not automatic. And here, David is sending Jonathan to test what the king is up to, and he's telling him, now, if you really are not my friend, kill me now. Kill me yourself. Don't go to jeopardize me with the king. Do not go to make the king kill me or expose me to be killed. Kill me yourself. And I want to say that if you really want friendship, it will be very, very important that of necessity, you invest time in it. And I want to ask you a question. How many minutes are you putting into friendship with the people you want to grow with? Verse 9 says, never, Jonathan said, if I had the least inkling that my father was determined to harm you, wouldn't I tell you? David asked, who will tell me if your father answers you harshly? So, Jonathan reassures David that the friendship is for real. And you know here, friendship demands transparency between friends. What David was after is to get that, to see the heart of Jonathan. And the same way, you need to give time with the people who are your friends in the organization as you lead, so that they have time to be transparent with you, to be open with you, and you actually open with them. However, when I talk about a leader being open, there are certain confidential information only the board should know. The others, confidential information, only management should know. The CEO will know everything. So it's not a sign of friendship when you share information somebody should not know with him. You should say, no, that one I'm not allowed to say. But outside that, there are many issues you can share with a person who is a friend. Verse 16 says, so Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, may the Lord call David's enemies to account. And Jonathan had David reaffirm his oath out of love for him, because he loved him as he loved himself. That's what friendship is all about. Friendship is where you love someone as you love yourself. And a leader will need people like that, who can die with him, who can live with him. You know that you need to understand, when that happens, you and your friends are on one side. The enemy of your friend becomes your enemy. And that means your friends will be your protection, because anybody against you, they assume is also against them. And I think that's what this David Jonathan story is teaching us. Verse 22. But if I say to the boy, look, the arrows are beyond you, then you must go, because the Lord has sent you away. Here they are looking for a code language. how will, if he discover, if Jonathan discovered the father is seriously wanting to kill him, how will he communicate? Because if he has seen with David, he'll also be in trouble. How will he be? How will he be? So he told, they agreed where you hide and the code language you use for David to understand whether there's danger or not. Similarly, if you are friends with people, you need a language where all you people understand. And you can speak to your friends without necessarily everybody getting the information. That's a sign of friendship. And every generation, young people actually create their own language. That's why Sheng is a language young people speak and the parents are not supposed to understand. It's a code language and there's nothing wrong with it. You and your friend need a language that you understand each other on. That's why a husband and a wife can talk to each other and you are still there and they are talking a language you know, but you don't know what they are saying. That's a sign of friendship, where you have grown with each other in familiarity until you understand, you have created your own code language. Verse 23 says, and about the matter you and I discuss, remember, the Lord is witness between you and me forever. In a good friendship, it's not two people together, it's three. It's Jonathan and David and God. So what that then means is that the friends are aware that if they are promising something, God is a witness. That's why they will not promise something in a hurry. And that's why you shouldn't be having friends, deep friends, who are not born again. How will you pray together? How will you be, this thing that God is parted to in a strong friendship? If they are not saved, there will be a problem. And we are not even talking about a boy being friends with an unchristian girl. We are just talking about in a general relationships. You need to be careful who is it that you are friends with. But through friendship, God needs to be involved in your friendship so that you don't have friendships that don't please God. That will be something important. And verse 30 says, Saul's anger flared up at Jonathan, and he said to him, you son of a perverse and rebellious woman, don't I know that you have sided with the son of Jesse, to your own shame and to the shame of the mother who bore you? As long as the son of Jesse lives on this earth, neither you nor your kingdom will be established. Now send someone to bring him to me, for he must die. Why should he be put to death? What has he done? Jonathan asked his father. But Saul hurled his spear at him to kill him. Then Jonathan knew that his father intended to kill David. Now, you are talking about a friend. He is taking such a risk. Jonathan is taking a risk. In fact, he is almost killed by his father. And you also should be able to take a risk on the people who are your friends. So let me ask you, do you have such people? I told you to have them, you need to be somebody who invests in friendship. But you need them. And when you have them, it will make your work very easy. Somebody called William Wilberforce, who is reputed to have abolished slave trade, had such austerity in Parliament because the idea of condemning slave owners was not something Parliament was willing to agree with. But he had a group that met, I think, Sunday afternoons of his friends whom he would share what he's planning to suggest in Parliament with, who would pray with him, advise him. And it made him last following slave trade issues until finally the slave trade was abolished when he was still alive. My friend, you need such group. People, don't just be a leader without a backup. You need people who pray with you, who understand you, and who can take risks for you. And I think that will be something very important. And you need to ask yourself, Is that something that you are good at? Verse 34 says, Jonathan got up from the table in fierce anger, and on that second day of the feast, he did not eat because he was grieved at his father's shameful treatment of David. Your friend's pain is your pain. The fact that the life of David was at risk caused Jonathan to start fasting. He had no appetite. He could not eat. Do you have friends like that, who are so committed to your safety, to your health, that when you have a problem, they have a problem? Or put it the other way around. Do you have friends where if you hear they're in trouble, you stop what you are doing in order to be with them? Remember, friendship, I say it again, requires investment. And when you have people like that and you are a leader, you are certainly assured of people who watch your back. Verse 41 is saying, after the boy had gone, David got up from the south side of the stone and bowed down before Jonathan 3 times with his face to the ground. Then they kissed each other and wept together. But David wept the most. You know, David now knew for sure that he had a friend in Jonathan. You know, friendship requires emotional oneness. When you cry together. Do you have people like that, whom you can open up and allow yourself to break up? You are a leader. You're not expected to break up in public. But you have a group of people that you should certainly include your spouse, you are willing to break down in front of them. Doctors tell us that tears are therapeutic. When you are able to cry, it heals you. And you need friends who can be with you emotionally and share your emotions. Finally, I just want to look at verse 42 again. Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, for we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord is witness between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever." Then David left, and Jonathan went back to town. Your family should be friends to your friend. And that's what you need to understand. If you have serious friends, you should introduce them to your family. It's because the friend of a friend is also a friend. And I think it will be very important to understand that in this friendship of Jonathan and David, David is interested in Jonathan's children. When finally Jonathan dies in battle, David becomes king, and years later, he is looking for the children of Jonathan to look after them, to comfort them, because of a friendship. Please understand, the family of your friend should also be your friend. May the Lord help us to really start those friendships, because you're not going to start friendship when you become a leader. It's you are currently. Are you investing in friendship? Or are you doing things that cause people to run away from you? May the Lord help us to truly have good friends. Thank you very much. The meeting is back to William.
Asante sana ndugu Nyanga. We are so grateful. That was